Welcome, you're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. With the support of the European Investment Bank, Ukraine continues to modernize transport infrastructure. The bank has agreed to provide a loan of 75 million euros to finance urban road safety projects across 5 cities in Ukraine. To talk more about these projects, we welcome in our studio Eric Hoyrup. He is our road safety management expert and team leader of the project called Modernization and Safety Improvements of the road network in Ukraine. Hello and thank you for joining us. So on the 21st of September, a campaign called Ukraine Slowdown has been launched. Could you tell us all about this campaign?
Yes, of course I can. It was one of the main components of our project. The project aims at increasing the safety of roads, but also of road users, because the road infrastructure has a responsibility in the accidents, but also the user, the drivers, the users, the street and the road user, pedestrians, all of them. Different responsibilities, but all of them have. And the campaign had been working on a selected audience and topic, which was the speed. For an audience or target audience, which was the male drivers between 30 and 45 years old.
You just said that the target audience was the group of male drivers, 30 to 35 years old. Are those the drivers that are most commonly breaking the rules of the road safety, like speeding or driving under influence?
To some extent, yes. Although the data we have here in Ukraine about road accident and the recordings of all accidents, all parameters, is not that clear that it would enable a very clear focus on one target group. But nevertheless, they are in Ukraine, like in many other countries, responsible or with a high responsibility in road accidents, because of their jobs, their business, their behavior, their spirit, their way of understanding life stakes and problems. For this reason, or for those reasons, they are commonly considered as
the group of people where it's at risk, right?
Yeah.
All right. What about the project I just mentioned during the intro, which is called Modernization and Safety Improvements of the road network in Ukraine?
The bank, the European Investment Bank, has funded a lot of road improvement projects in Ukraine for 10, 15 years already, and they discovered progressively that the roads constructed or rebuilt or improved after with their funding, after having been re-put in circulation, were proved more dangerous sometimes and they saw more accidents on those roads, which was exactly the opposite of what they were expecting.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay, but how do we tackle this problem?
So the decision of the bank, I was not in the secret at this time, but I was told afterward that they decided to work on the design of roads in Ukraine, trying to get the design standards and the design planning and design procedures closer to the European ones or the best practice in other countries. So this was the most important component of this project. Modernize the standards by getting them closer to the EU standards. Maybe also other ones.
How would you evaluate the state Ukrainian roads are in currently at this moment?
You mean for road safety? Yeah. As I said, the results in road accidents depend on different parameters. One is the infrastructure, one is the driver behaviors. Of course, other ones also intervene.
If we talk about infrastructure. In what condition is it?
First of all, I would say that the quality of the network is rather poor because there has been for many years a lack of maintenance. This is one point. The other one is that because of, I would say, low traffic, low level of traffic, there was not a very demanding need for improving, widening, modernizing the network. So when they started, let us say maybe 20 years ago, a few years after the independence, to improve the road network here, to take into account the increasing fleet of vehicles and the need to reach quicker one point to another one. So they try to modernize, constructing highways, motorways, and this kind of things. And then, but this was done much later than other Western countries. So for this reason, there is a kind of miss quality or bad quality of the network still compared with other countries.
Since we're lagging behind, how many years will it take Ukraine to steadily improve the state of road network in the country?
That largely depends to the available amount of money because it has a cost.
Of course.
Building infrastructure is a high expense. And especially if you want to avoid constructing on-site within the settlement, enlarging the road without taking into account the persons living on both sides, which is a huge problem. Because if you do that, it's more cheap than construct a bypass around the settlement.
Of course.
But it creates other problems, and many of the accidents happening in such small, I would say, small settlements, small villages, happen because there was no good account taken of this problem.
Okay, let's talk about the second part of this whole thing as the road safety. We just talked about infrastructure. Now, let's talk about the road users, as you call them, about drivers and pedestrians.
Yeah.
If with the roads, it's pretty much clear what we need to do is to better the infrastructure, to make it better, to provide maintenance to the roads. In the case with drivers and pedestrians, I'm thinking we need to educate them. How do we educate them to be careful on the road, to obey the rules, to follow the rules that need to be followed at the cost of life?
Yeah, yeah. So both actors of this game need to be educated. I believe that a lot is done and has been done in Ukraine for children in schools because there is a very highly efficient system of education in schools and
we do
other
have
schools.
a program.
That is very interesting. But other pedestrian, I mean grown-ups, adults, older persons, and also need to be educated, and not only educate, but there are things that you cannot do, even if you know you do, you have to do, and if you want to do. I mean, crossing a wide road with 4 lanes, when you are an elderly person, if you have some handicap and so on, it becomes very much difficult. And you can build an underground or you can build a bridge over the road. Those people will not be able to use them because the staircase up and down is a huge problem. So you are replacing one problem by another one. And they will anyway, whatever the education, they will try to find the easiest.
They won't have any choice left.
They will not have really a choice, even if the road constructor, the road operator is convinced that he has done his best. I have built a bridge, I have built an underground. Why do the crazy person not use it?
Because they can't. Because it's not made comfortable for them to use.
And I also understand that for the drivers who are driving at, let us say, a 90 or 100 kilometers an hour speed around across this settlement, when if they need to stop at each pedestrian crossing or slow down to 50, it's also unrealistic. And this is also what the trend was and still is to say we will put a sign and have the drivers to slow down. But I mean, if you have a highway with a goal of quickly, you cannot combine that with crossing a settlement. So this is a huge problem that all countries with the development of the transport and the traffic has been facing. All of them have.
Since the decision has been made to improve the road network in Ukraine and bring it as close as possible to the European standards. Now, are any European experts are involved or are in consultancy with Ukrainian road makers?
Yes.
Who are they?
From consultant companies like the one I'm working for, Aegis. We are here with a team. I'm from France. We have colleagues from Poland, from Moldova, from UK, from Romania. And this kind of people are coming each with their own experience of having carried out such programs in other countries. So they come with this experience and try to help here and to discuss and to convince their partners from the road agency.
Well, looks like Ukraine is in good hands. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this information with us. That was Eric Hoyrup. He is a road safety management expert and team leader of the project called Modernization and Safety Improvements of the road network in Ukraine. Thank you so much for watching UATV. Stay tuned for the rest.